That is the larger bill. Boom, your smart water valve already shut it off. Crisis averted. Damage? None. And the best part, it's all part of the same professionally installed Alarm.com security system that protects your home, controls the HVAC, and keeps you connected. Alarm.com is exclusively available through local service providers. Connect with a pro at Alarm.com today. In the pursuit of speed and playable distance, Titleist has engineered a new class of drivers. Titleist GT marks the biggest technological leap ever in Titleist driver design, delivering unmatched speed, launch, and stability for total driving performance. Discover the next generation of driving excellence with Titleist GT. Visit Titleist.com to find a fitter near you. The right to bear arms. Religious freedom. Conservative principles live here. We are. Sirius XM Patriot, Channel 125. We are Patriot. Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm John Scott. President Trump is signing an executive order threatening to revoke federal funding from local and state governments that allow cashless bail. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump has been escalating his focus on public safety, particularly in Democratic cities such as Washington, where he's deployed National Guard troops and federal agents despite the objections from local officials there. The president's military deployment has been escalated in D.C. Some National Guard units in the nation's capital are now armed. An official with the Defense Department, who's not authorized to speak publicly, says some units on certain missions are armed, some with handguns, others with rifles. The spokesperson says all units with firearms have been trained and are operating under strict rules for use of force. The official says troops carrying guns include those patrolling to establish a law enforcement presence throughout D.C. Mike Hempton, Washington. Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been detained by immigration authorities in Baltimore and faces possible efforts by the Trump administration to deport him to Uganda. However, a blanket court order automatically pauses any effort by the Trump administration to immediately deport Abrego Garcia and other immigrants who are challenging their detention. Israel continues its military offensive in the Gaza Strip. Correspondent Naoon Kim has. We're not going to do that.
Hey, Jared.
We were subsidizing the entire world, and we're not doing it anymore. I informed the drug companies. I informed the world. And if the world wants to, if countries in the world don't want to go along, then I'm going to put tariffs on those countries, and we'll make more money. But they have to go along with it. So this is moving along rapidly. Dr. Oz is in charge, Bobby's group, and they're doing very well. And we're getting great cooperation from the drug, because the drug companies know it's unfair. You know, for years they'd say, well, we had to do research, and we had to do. I said, I don't care. You had to do research for these other countries also. They are ready to go, and I'm ready to go. And, you know, if I pull that off, there's no way a Republican will lose an election. There's no way. All right, one more question. Steve. What's this guy? He's the nicest guy I know, and he asks the most vicious questions.
Why do you think President Putin is so reluctant to meet with President Zelensky?
Because he doesn't like him. He doesn't like him. They don't like him. I have people I don't like.
That, yeah?
I don't like to meet with them. Sometimes I do like to meet with people I don't like.
Yeah,
They don't like each other, really. And if we had a real president instead of a guy that got in there with a fraudulent election, if we had a real president, that war would have never happened. Putin actually said, if Trump were president, it wouldn't have happened. Happened for a lot of reasons. Happened because of Afghanistan. When he saw how incompetent Milley was and all these guys were, I think he said, well, this might be, because it was the apple of his eye. It would have never happened if I were president.
Yes, President, you have built a relationship with Russian leaders and also North Korean leaders. As they are getting closer, how would that affect your diplomatic approach?
Well, I have very good relationships with Kim Jong-un, North Korea. I mean, a lot of people would say, oh, that's terrible. No, it's good. In fact, someday I'll see him. I look forward to seeing him. He was very good with me. We had 2 meetings. We had 2 summits. We got along great. I know him better than you do. I know him better than anybody, almost, other than his sister. His sister knows him pretty well. I know him well, and I got along with him. You know, I'm not supposed to say I really like him a lot, because if I do that, I get killed in the fake news media. But I got along with him very well, and we had no problem. If
If at the time Hillary Clinton won the election, you would have had a nuclear war. You would have had a nuclear war. We're not going to have a nuclear war. Once that happens, it's over. We're not going to have a nuclear war. No, but Kim Jong-un will meet at some point. I look forward to it, actually.
Little rocket man.
But do you notice that since I came into office, you haven't had a problem with him? Hasn't been, he tests lots of rockets. He does have great capability, I will say that. But I think a lot of good things are happening for our country. A lot of really good things. And the thing we're here today to talk about is crime, and specifically in D.C. I am so proud of what these people, every one of them, what they've done in D.C. Because to literally stop crime on a button. I'd walk down that street right now. If I were friends of mine are going out to dinner now. They haven't gone out to dinner in 4 years. They were afraid. They were petrified. Half the restaurants closed because nobody could go because they're afraid to go outside. Now those restaurants are open and new restaurants are opening up. It's like a boom town. It's a great thing to see, and I'm very proud of the people behind me. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right. That is the president. Man, so full crew in there today. So I'll pull the stuff that he just signed, the executive orders, up for us. I think I have the orders or the announcement or the press releases or whatever. The White House just dropped those. And so let's snap. Oh, we got some more video here. Hold on a second. Nope, they just cut it again. All right, so the cameras went back on and they just cut it again. So, all right, so let's pull up the actual documents that just came down, and here is what they look like. So from the White House, a couple items here. Taking steps to end cashless bail to protect Americans. Measures to end cashless bail and enforce the law in D.C. So it's going to be curious to see what. So one's locally for D.C. One is going to take steps outside of D.C., right? There's only so much he can do outside of D.C. when it comes to local crime. So that's how they're parsing that. Now, this one's a curious one, and I'll be curious to see what you guys say about this one. Prosecuting the burning of the American flag. A lot of people say that you should be allowed to burn it. Others say that if they're going to protect other flags against burning and destruction and other things, then why would that not apply to our flag? So we'll see what the order says. We got a bunch of other ones. Okay, so today, crime emergency. All right, let's just parse through real quick, see what we got. This was the first one. Looks like they posted. Additional crime measures. Okay, so he says 2 weeks ago, I declared a crime emergency in the District of Columbia to address the violence. I issued an executive order. The National Park did a bunch of stuff. DC shall do a bunch of stuff. The Secretary of Defense shall immediately begin ensuring the state's Army National Guard are organized and trained. And HUD may investigate compliance. And it's pretty detailed. The authority here, the functions. All right, so it looks like they're basically just extending. 2 weeks ago, I declared this is. I'm now ordering further actions to address the condition. So kind of moving things around, moving money, moving people around.
Yeah, I'm feeling okay. I'm just
so clearing that up.
answering an email.
That was that one.
I thought it was going to be stopped longer than I was.
Let's go over to this one. Measures to end cashless bail. See what this one was. They just posted this. By the authority vested in me. New executive order. Criminals are free. And so now, to prevent the release of dangerous suspects, according to executive order, D.C. people shall work to ensure that arrestees held in D.C. are held in custody to the fullest extent possible, consistent with applicable law, and review anybody who you think is a threat to public safety. The Attorney General, Pam, shall also determine whether the D.C. District of Columbia continues to maintain a policy or practice of prohibiting cash bail, where people might be threatening to public health or safety. The AG shall update her determination. So it sounds like she's just going to write a memo about it. If she determines that they do maintain a practice of prohibiting cash bail, so people just get released, the head of each department or agency shall identify appropriate actions that we can take. All right, so if they're not in compliance, see what we can do about it. Go figure it out. Signed by President Trump. So probably going to be very similar for this one. So that was for DC. This will be outside of DC to protect all Americans.
Maintaining order. I will require common sense policies that protect American safety and well-being by incarcerated individuals who are known threats. Within 30 days of this order, the AG shall submit to the President, through the assistance of the President for Homeland Security, a list of states and local jurisdictions that have eliminated cash bail as a potential condition of pretrial release, specifically for these crimes: violent, other ones, indecent, burglary, looting things. Now, the head of each person shall investigate it, report it back. It doesn't do anything else. So, okay, interesting. So, look into these places that are doing it. Maybe they'll sue somebody, like they're doing with the sanctuary cities. We saw that same pattern. Kind of identify all the sanctuary cities, and one after another, they're getting lawsuits and things for being out of compliance with federal law in some other tangential way. So that's
Hey, Oklahoma.
I think the big one that's probably going to be the spiciest is this one. Is this a violation of the First Amendment in any way? We know that last week we read through that decision with, I think, Judge McFadden, that was essentially saying that yanking on an Israeli flag was indicia of racial discrimination, essentially, right? And that was part of the attack, and that was part of the analysis, because the judge was identifying the Israeli flag with essentially outside of the Israeli nation state by saying that it also applied to Jewish people in general, or Judaism, the concept, more broadly. But so that was the question. So, okay, if that flag is an extension of your race, religion, or your ethnicity, it doesn't represent your nation state. Does that apply to all of the other flags? And of course, as you know, man, there are some places may not exactly be hate crimes. Some of them you can call them hate crimes, but they're aggressively prosecuted property crimes. If you dare go after one of their sacrosanct flags, like the gay pride flag, spread out all over the streets, splayed all over downtown, whatever. And then if somebody, scuffs that up, that is it's not just regular property damage, right? Nobody's prosecuted for scuffing up the sidewalk. But if you scuff up or scuffing up the street or a walkway, who cares?
live. Good to see you, Holy Skunk.
Although in Arizona, it can be pretty aggressive. They charge you that racing. You school your tires. They charge that as racing. It's pretty serious. But anyway, depending on what you're doing. So the point is, why are some flags and symbols protected where others are not? And even if it's not officially a hate crime, you know what they do.
They're going to grab me some Raising Cane's on the way there.
It's a property crime. It's like destruction of public property. You just charge him like everybody else. We know what his intent was. He hates the trains, so we're going to make sure he goes to prison forever. All right. So, anyways, but then they come out, and of course you can,
using the old laptop. That's cool.
Crucifix, and you can desecrate, the Holy Mary. You can do whatever you want. Put like Christian symbols and buckets of urine, pieces and stuff, and put it on display your colors and all this stuff. And you start to ask about what is the symbol of America.
I charge per diem. I'm not sure you.
Why is our flag
probably be better with the Geek Squad.
Who hate America and want to destroy the country and the social fabric that binds us together. But all right, here is what
I do make house calls
has posted for us, saying, all right, by the authority vested in me as president, our great American flag is the most sacred and cherished.
Sure, that's what I'm going to do right now is install a new desktop.
Of American freedom, identity, and strength. Over nearly 2.5 centuries, many thousands of American patriots have fought, bled, and died to keep the stars and stripes waving proudly. The American flag is a special symbol in our national life and should unite and represent all Americans of every background and walk of life. Desecrating it is uniquely offensive and provocative. Now, it is a statement of contempt, hostility, and violence against our nation, the clearest possible expression of opposition to the political union that preserves our rights, liberty, and security. Burning this representation of America may incite violence and riots. And the American flag burning is also used by a group of foreign nationals as calculated acts to intimidate and threaten vience against Americans.
And the river's really low for as high as it was earlier this year.
Notwithstanding the Supreme Court's
really low
First Amendment protection, the court has never held that American flag desecration conducted in a manner that is likely to incite imminent lawless action. So it's interesting. Or that is an action amounting to fighting words is constitutionally protected. So it's going to be certain conduct, right? It's like if you're burning the flag outside of an ICE building in order to insurrect the building or to create a riot or to cause danger to the ICE agents who are coming in and out of the building, how is that protected speech? Any other than lighting other incendiaries or something like that. Right now, what you're doing is you're trying to provoke something to cause additional violence, and we already have rules for incitement. That you can't go out there and incite people to violence. And imminent lawless action, saying we're outside the bank right now. Let's go in and rob it. Yeah, let's go. And we go. And you're inciting them to violence, and it's imminent. It's going to happen any minute. Like, there's limitations on what you can do there. Limitations on a bunch of things in America. And so, what about fighting words? Can you get away with? Can you say, well, it's free speech? And you just go up to somebody in the face and just say, "Your effing mother," whatever, and somebody pops you in the jaw.
I gotta snooze the notification on the cameras in defiance. It's gonna.
We've got a lot of complexity.
Give you guys a blank screen for a second, but I gotta fix this. So just give me a second.
It's not outside a nice facility or something like that. Then you can burn the flag on your property and your friends up there, and you can still exercise your right to free speech. Nobody's challenging that. But Trump says, my administration will act to restore respect and sanctity of the American flag and prosecute those who incite violence. Okay, it's not prosecutions or flag burning, but it's inciting violence through the mechanism of burning a flag, which is highly provocative, just like any other flag. And this is a desecration of this symbol of our country to the fullest extent permissible under any available authority. The Attorney General shall prioritize the enforcement to the fullest extent possible of our nation's criminal and civil laws against acts of American flag desecration and violate applicable content-neutral laws while causing harm unrelated to expression consistent with the First Amendment. This may include, but is not limited to, violence, not hate crimes, illegal discrimination.
Oh my God! Now the camera's stuck sideways.
Other violations of
we turn it off and on. Maybe that'll fix it.
Crimes against property and the peace, as well as conspiracies and attempts to violate, aiding and abetting others to violate this. All right, so we'll continue on. But I have a thought for a moment. My question is,
be back.
What is the enforcement going to look like? One.
Yeah, I was getting a constant notification. I don't know if you guys were hearing the vibrations. Every time there was movement at the front door of the Defiance building.
Local prosecutors to bring these cases under or focus on certain red districts or whatever.
Yeah, we got a good some rain last night too. It was good sleeping weather.
And three, will this be some version of kind of like the Streisand effect, right? If you're like, you can't burn the flag, everybody's gonna be like, well, we're just gonna burn it. And so maybe there'll be many more people who are out actually burning the flag, saying that, oh, if you're going to challenge my right to do it, then I'm going to do it. In fact, I have a lot of that built into my DNA. You know what I mean? And in this environment, would they be able to prosecute all of the people who are burning the flags? Let's say who are borderline. What's the Supreme Court going to do about that? A lot of this will be litigated. So it's it's opening up a whole potential area of new First Amendment jurisprudence. Where's the line between freedom of expression and incitement to violence when it comes to the American flag? What about, what if you just did it with any other flag? Like, could you go to a gay pride parade and just set their pride flag on fire and just say, this is my free speech, get out of here. I'm going to burn this thing. Or you go to, an NAACP convention and you just start, burning crosses or whatever out there. You just go, what? It's my free speech right to do, right? There are certain things that are provocative and hateful and are symbolically not free speech because of the consequences of the speech that cause real world harm. So you could do the same thing, right? And they're burning lots of flags, but are you going to be enforcing that standard? What is the standard? If you can't burn the trans flags or the Israeli flags or the Ukrainian flag is sacred, why is the American flag treated differently? They get protections, but we don't. Now, there's also a real risk.
Wow,
okay,
fucking traffic. Look at this shit.
Our guy's in charge.
Of course, they're probably blocking the intersection up here.
He is going to reclaim the symbol of the American flag.
Fuck.
for the
I think I'm going to go to the barbecue place.
Stuff that we like, generally speaking. Versus the other side, right? The risk becomes if the other side criminalizes protestations against the flag. Like if Joe Biden came out and said, you can't criticize the flag, Kamala Harris, you can't criticize the flag. And the American flag now stands for equity, diversity, and inclusivity. And we stand for democracy. And like they redefine that American flag symbol, does the flag symbol become so perverted from the values of America that Americans who believe in the Constitution would either protest against the flag or separate themselves from that identity? Okay, I don't think that's happened yet. Personally, I think that the flag is still very much symbolic of America, and that's why they hate it so much. That's why they want to water it down with all of the other flags. You get a flag, and you get a flag, and you get a flag, and you get a flag. We see these illegals coming in waving their Guatemalan, Mexican, and El Salvadorian flags in our country, right? That's a sign of conquest.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you knew that was coming. He's not that good of a quarterback.
Waved around on our House of
I mean, the only reason he started at Colorado is because he's the coach's son. I mean, he's not that good. There's a reason why he got taken in the last round. And he showed us a couple of
same thing with the Israeli
decent
all over
moves.
And things like that.
I thought the barbecue place was over here.
America to
the first couple of games, but that's all fucking.
But if those values get aligned, would
rookies
the flag be rejected?
Third and fourth stringers usually the first couple preseason games.
They're trying to whitewash it out of everything because it is a symbol
of
American values of the Constitution. A lot of them don't care about those values, and so if they perverted the flag, then
I was going to go to Raising Cane's, but it's fucking busy as fuck.
If you wanted to challenge,
you can't even get out this way. God dang it!
There's layers to this, baby. So in cases
Dickies
where
is
the
what it's
DOJ
called.
or other agencies
the next
determines
group
that American flag desecration may violate an applicable local or state law, such as open burning restrictions, disorderly conduct laws, destruction of property laws, the agency shall refer the matter to the appropriate authorities. Right, and they did a lot of that with the train stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't be picking him up on waivers if I was you for the fantasy football team, because I doubt he's gonna. I mean, unless everybody else gets hurt.
Vigorously prosecute those who violate our
they have quarterbacks. This lady, come on, lady.
And pursue litigation to clarify the scope of First Amendment exceptions in this area. Right, so they're even saying we don't know exactly what the court's going to do.
Housewives of Perrysburg, there.
We're going to reclaim this symbol. Don't torch it. And, a nice, maybe unintended consequence of this is if that Streisand effect happens and they start to burn more flags, then that's perfect because we'll just get to see who they are. Yeah, just get out there, burn the flags. We already know. Actually, we've appreciated that with all the illegal aliens waving their flags around. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get some brisket.
So you're like a pirate in our nation, waving your foreign flag around. Perfect. Hopefully, you keep that flying outside your house so ICE agents can come arrest you. So that
there it is. It's called Dickies.
On the flag. And
Dickies barbecue.
If I had to sort of pick a side on this, I'm in favor of protections of the American flag.
Ooh, $20 slabs.
Broadly speaking, right? And if we're going to enter an environment where the
I don't see this
standard
open sign.
Of the law
temporarily closed
everybody else
due to fire. Oh shit!
I think that there is.
Well, that blows.
A clear distinction where you can say that
what the heck am I going to eat?
The flag is intended to be analogous to fighting.
Man, throwing some monkey wrenches in my shit today.
Should have some love of the flag.
That blows, man. They had a fire in there.
We treat it as a sacred symbol.
Maybe I'll find some pulled pork in Fremont or something. Let me see.
Incredible flag, best of all, and so we'll see where this goes. Now, again, this could the line on this thing is very close, so you can see how it could cross the line, or this precedent might come in to say that all of the other flags get ultra protections too. So, anyways, we'll see. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of battles over this. We'll see what the DOJ comes.
Barbecue, Fremont, Ohio. I may just get some gizzards.
But they're allowed to prosecute, but we love our flag and we want it to be protected. All right, so we've got that. Now, some other things that are percolating out there. So Trump was out this morning. We saw that, obviously. We've got this is the latest schedule. Signs the executive orders. Oh, yeah, the North Korean president. I'm sorry, South Korean, Republic of Korea is coming in to meet. Trump posted about that today. He said something like this. What is going on in South Korea? Seems like a purge or revolution out there. We can't have that and do business there.
Actually,
I'm
this
seeing the
looks
new
good.
president today at the White House.
It's a place called Jimmy G's Barbecue.
From the president. Now, you're probably asking yourself, Rob, what's Congress doing today or this week? Well, here you go. Answer. Nothing. But we're nearing the end of August, so we'll see if they come back anytime soon. So Trump was out there today.
All right, let's try this out. Try out a place in Fremont.
Right now, Trump signed the executive order. Whoa, Bondi's holding a news conference in New York.
Jimmy G's Barbecue, Fremont, Ohio. All right.
What could that be? I wonder. That's very interesting. Let's take a look and see if Pam Bondi posted about this over on X. And see what that is. She announcing indictments? Oh gosh, could you imagine? All right, let's see. Let's do just a quick search over here. Executive orders, DOJ civil rights. I'm not seeing anything. Let's see if Pam Bondi posted anything from her AG account. Arrest 16 hours ago. More safe arrests, 93 more arrests. All right, well, she'll be coming out in a little bit, so that should be very curious to see what she has to say. Then I'm sure we'll probably get some interfacing between the president and the South Korean president, and so that will also be curious. Trump also posted about this fella, remember him? Chris Christie. Trump posted in response to this interview, he said, I just watched sloppy Chris Christie be interviewed on a ratings challenge news show this week with George Slapadopoulos on ABC Fake News. By the way, what the hell happened to Jonathan Karl's hair? He looks absolutely terrible. It's amazing what bad ratings on a failed television show that was forced to pay me $16 million can do to one's appearance. Can anyone believe anything that sloppy Chris says? Do you remember the way he lied about the dangerous and deadly closure of the George Washington Bridge in order to stay out of prison? At the same time, sacrificing people who work for him, including a young mother who spent years trying to fight off the vicious charges against her. Chris refused to take responsibility for these criminal acts. For the sake of justice, perhaps we should start looking at that very serious situation again. No one is above the law. Thank you for your attention to this matter from Trump. And so he's responding to this over from Chris. Let's see what he sounded like on with George Slapadopoulos.
Said earlier in that video you showed, you didn't show this piece, where he said he's the chief federal law enforcement officer in the United States. Donald Trump sees himself as the person who gets to decide everything. And he doesn't care about any separation.
He's the president.
He absolutely rejects the idea that there should be separation between criminal investigations and the politically elected leader of the United States. This is much different than it's ever been before. But look,
what are you talking about, you weird person? Obama sat in the room with FBI, DOJ, NSA, DNI, CIA, and everyone else at the State Department to plot a fake scandal against the president called Trump-Russia collusion. Ordered by the president. James Clapper had his assistant send out an email. The president ordered this to happen. Yeah, break.
Let me say candidly to the American people who are watching, you were told this. You were told that this was what he was going to do. And not by me, by Donald Trump during the 2024 campaign. He told you he was going to do this, that he was going to have a Justice Department that acted as his personal legal representative.
He never said that, you maniac. Where did he quote say that? I'm going to have the DOJ be my personal legal representation? Never said it. Man, they do look sloppy. And what's going on with George Slopadopoulos? Is he in this clip? Did they show him? A little cut to George. Oh yeah, there's Jonathan Karl's hair. Oh yeah, he's right. It's looking rough. Well, it's stressful. Jonathan Karl, I don't know if they had to take any of that $16 million out of his, but he's struggling over there, and we'll keep our eye on it. So, funny from the president, George Slopadopoulos. And we'll see what happens with Christie. Maybe he'll be investigated. All right, so we had some other drama that was happening over the weekend. You may have seen some of this. This was over from the president related to Alina Abba in the House. Trump posted, I have a constitutional right to appoint judges and U.S. attorneys, but that right has been completely taken away from me in states that have just one Democrat United States senator. This is because of an old and outdated custom known as the blue slip that Senator Chuck Grassley of the great state of Iowa refuses to overturn, even though the Democrats, including crooked Joe Biden twice, have done so on numerous occasions. Therefore, the only candidates that I can get confirmed for these most important positions are, believe it or not, Democrats. Chuck Grassley should allow strong Republican candidates to ascend to those very vital and powerful roles and tell the Democrats, as they often tell us, to go to hell. Okay. So Trump versus Grassley, we like Chuck. We think he does a good job. But Chuck says, what are you talking about? Abba was withdrawn as the president's nominee for New Jersey on July 24th. And the Judiciary Committee in the Senate never received any of the paperwork needed for the Senate to. And so we don't have her paperwork, basically. Amuse asked, is this true? To Brock. Brock says, yeah. Senate records confirm Alina Abba's nomination for U.S. Attorney was received June 30th. Withdrawn.
Barbecue taters.
On July 24th, official logs show no vetting paperwork was submitted to Judiciary, and no hearings occurred.
Ooh.
And I hate doing paperwork, too.
But you have a little strikey strike? New local? Ooh. It just got organized there. Striking.
Yeah, in New Jersey, we had a very strange situation that I was made very aware of months ago. Yes, the Department of Justice official who was named to replace me was very close with federal judges that voted me out and voted her in. It was not a typical situation. It was not a partisan situation. It was solely, let's get our person in. What they don't understand is Article 3 judges do not pick the U.S. attorney for the state. The president, Pam Bondi, the attorney general, that's who picks it. I'm aware of it, and the Department of Justice is aware of it, and soon enough it will come out. It was inappropriate, it was unethical, and frankly, senators ordering the judges in tweets to vote against me was
I'm pissed at the
and it was all because of
sympathetic strike that our fucking Republic Waste Management is doing. They're not even in contract negotiations, but they're striking because somebody else is striking. So my garbage never gets picked up on time anymore.
Exactly, but
and I'm paying for it out of pocket.
Says Chuck's holding her up. Chuck says, I never got any paperwork. Just send it over. We'll skid it through. All right, so hopefully that happens. We'll keep our eye on that. But there is some drama out there. But this, you probably saw this. Communists are pathetic. You can see one of them attempting painfully to do a set of bench press with 135 pounds, struggling, having to be spotted all the way up and all the way down. This is, of course, Kami Lamdani.
Yeah, I'm paying out the pocket for services. I expect my services.
Failed pretty badly on this. Cuomo and Adams are roasting this dude. Apparently, it was Men's Day, and everybody knows. It's like the first set you do, just 35, bang out 10 of those, maybe 12 if you're feeling good. Just loosen up. You just want to loosen up with that. Then, way up. Many people will progress up to 185 and then go up to 225, and then maybe that's kind of where you hang out. But other people struggle with 135, and that is in part because of their communism. And so the New York Times the New York Post is ripping him, saying independent candidate for mayor Andrew Cuomo also roasted Mamdani. He says, it's easy to talk, but it's hard to carry the burden. Cuomo provided no evidence.
Actually, I'm just going to switch service. God loves capitalism. I'll just switch to a different company. It's cheaper anyway.
Bet your body weight, especially if you're a dude, let alone carry the weight of leading the most important city in the world. Just amazing. Now, of course, he's beating the crap out of him in the polls. While he may have floundered at the test of strength, he still shows some skill with the soccer ball. Oh, great. He's going to kick it barefoot, too, now. The national sport of which is where Kilmar's talk about that later. And video showed Mamdani taking off his designer boots to expertly kick stranger soccer balls. We had this. Right, so Mamdani
the commie with designer
also
boots
dropped in on a DJ set, and he says, "I look forward to being your next mayor." All right, let me show you this video. Pathetic. All right, here it is. Here's this dude out here doing some.
This is how you move up in the polls. Yeah. Got triggered.
All right, watch this for him too.
Come on, turn.
So he doesn't even know how to place his hands. Right? He never lives. Uh-oh.
Let's go. Yeah.
Watch the leg, left leg. Watch the left leg.
Let me get through.
No, not getting through, bro. What did he say at the end there?
What's this guy doing?
He's like, oh gosh, he knows. He knows in his face that this is not him.
104 logistics.
Right there. Oh, yeah. Bro.
Illinois.
Bro totally knows. He's like, and it's a good thing Democrats are idiots. Otherwise, they would know that I'm like a girly man.
Oh.
135.
Yeah, I saw your statement. You're like, fuck this shit, or what the fuck? Something like that. I don't know what they were saying. Believe me, I don't agree with everything I listen to. Although I might have agreed with it. I don't know. I didn't hear it because I was inside. Fucking busiest Raising Kings I've ever been to in my life.
It says Democratic mayoral frontrunner Zoran Mamdani and his comrades at the Democratic Socialists of America, they're communists. They want to wipe out all misdemeanor offenses in New York, which is crazy. I think he's got a lot of power over the NYPD about stability and stuff like that, so he might be able to do a lot here. In his most recent platform, the group blasts policing and detention as instruments of class war, which is, of course, they're communists, so they want to get rid of the class war.
You can talk. I've talked to you anytime, brother. If I'm not streaming, you can call. Or you can call while I'm streaming and I'll just mute it.
But and demand an end to what it calls the criminalization of the working class survivor. For all the working class to achieve collective.
And I'm not a doctor.
What is this?
My nickname may be Doc. I'm not a doctor, but I know a lot about a bunch of medical issues. I'm no expert. Mostly emergency medical issues, but still, I've dealt with some
all forms throughout society.
Different things.
On the campaign trail, Mamdani called the police to stop focusing on what he says are non-serious crimes.
Oh, you can ghost me.
Role to play, but
you can call anytime, man. If I don't answer, it's not because I don't want to talk to you. It's just because I can't, or I'm in a situation where I can't talk to you. You know, never think that. So.
Like, hey, everybody, I'm here just for the day.
If I don't pick up, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's because I'm in a situation where that type of conversation wouldn't work.
And it's crazy. So again, the silver lining of this whole thing.
I used to be able to give good stuff, but then again, I was sampling it myself too. So that's.
What the heck? And he eliminates misdemeanors in New York. Misdemeanors are like our most offenses. All right, they're the most.
No, I get it. I have a pretty good idea what you're talking about.
only going to prosecute like the sex offenders or something, felonies, the people who are like transporting, selling narcotic drugs? But even then, aren't they giving them basically no penalties and letting them out without any? I think that kind of the most cash bail or bond is ridiculous. So, and he might win. Like he might win this thing. Probably will. He's up in the polls dramatically. It's crazy times. So we also saw a follow up to last week. We had this crazy Rhode Island woman too. She was this she was a Rhode Island Deputy Attorney General, and she was the I am an AG lady. Well, apparently she got placed on unpaid leave. We saw this over the weekend. Said her arrest earlier went viral. We watched it. She's screaming. Both of these two ladies had never been told no in their entire lives, and finally they did. State payroll records, according to the Boston Globe, showed that she was making $113,000 a year. Nice. I'm an AG. I'm an AG. You're going to regret this. You're going to regret it. I'm an AG. Cop says, good for you. I don't give a crap, psycho lady. And you know, yeah, here, someone responded. In a subsequent radio interview, Rhode Island Attorney General Peter Noronha called it inexcusable behavior that will likely result in strong sanctions. However,
we got school zones blinking. School's already started here in Ohio. In Michigan, they don't start till after Labor Day.
Like this while I've been Attorney General. I've had a few. When I let one guy go for driving drunk, had to bring him back. What? You didn't admit that? Well, I didn't have to, but did bring him back after I fired him about a year later because, again, I needed somebody to go into a courtroom and try ugly, hard murder cases. It's like I just had to have the dude. It's just really hard to find and keep capable lawyers. So I just have to think really carefully about this one, but no question.
I don't know why you have to slow down while they're in class, though.
Yeah, and the alcohol thing, like, look, I understand being drunk. You know, I'm a recovered alcoholic. I don't drink anymore, and so I can understand having very bad nights on alcohol, and, you know, getting into bad situations and things like that. And everybody makes mistakes, and I represented a lot of people who just had like one bad night. Okay, like really good people, just one bad night just sucks. Got in a fight with X, you know, drove down the car, was upset, not in the right mind. Like I get it, and that can happen. But there are other kind of drunken episodes where kind of the mask slips a little bit, right? Kind of that person's inner almost survival instincts come out, right? And then you get to see who they are because they put that power on display. Like she thinks of herself as an AG. And I've made this point many times here, ripping on prosecutors about how kind of it's almost like a godlike figure, right? You see this with some cops, not a lot of, you know, not all cops, but prosecutors for sure, because they're the ones putting people in prison. Like they say, Your Honor, I recommend 15 years. Like, what? You're taking someone's like 15 years of someone's life from them because you're mad about what happened here? You know, some stupid law or something. I'm not accusing criminals, but I'm just like, you know, they're prosecutors that are overzealous and penalizing people for ways that, you know, for things they don't need to be penalized for. Anyways, very aggressive, almost like this God complex. Like they're just, you know, yeah. And then they internalize that, and you hear them talk about what they do at these little conventions and at these CLE, continuing legal education events. And they all just kind of like, yeah, they just like walk around like they're better than you, kind of a thing. Like, you are a city prosecutor. You work for Maricopa County or something like that. Like, shut up. You've done nothing special or meaningful in your whole life, but other than just, you know, follow the templates that come from your government bureaucracy, your government, one after another. And you can listen to them in trial too. They just walk through the numbers. It's like they numbers. It's crazy. But it's so, you know, it's rigged so they win anyways. Because it's like, and most of the time, you know, time you're playing it's something wrong. So you just have to figure it out. But my point on all of that tangent is that this is really, I think, a slip. And she's exposing kind of who she is. A power-hungry, controlling maniac. And it is a bad look for the entire agency because it's kind of a cultural thing, right? How long has she been there? A decade. It's a cultural thing. And they start to think that way. And they start to get treated that way. To other people like, oh, you're a prosecutor. Like, you're so powerful. You're such an amazing person. And I used to think that too. I mean, I used to want to be a prosecutor. I'm like, I'll just go be a prosecutor. They seem like really good people. Then you start dealing with prosecutors like, wow, you're like executing justice in our country. This is terrible. And so, yeah, there are a couple good prosecutors. I met one of them one time, and he left the practice in Mexico. Here's another mayor who is over on MSNBC and talking garbage about Trump. Here's what he had to say.
I just want to ask you, just in general, what historically has been Baltimore's greatest challenge? Why has Baltimore had a crime problem over the past 3-4 decades?
Well, I think oftentimes Baltimore's had a neglect problem. And I think about Baltimore used to be a city of 920,000 people. Baltimore is now a city of just under 600,000. In fact, if you look at the past few decades, Baltimore's had one of the most precipitous drops in population that we have seen in our country.
Just realized once football does get started that what happened? That the week starts on Thursday night football.
True, with the exception of Cleveland and Detroit.
After the first
let's also remember this: there's a legacy of Baltimore. And
we don't know what the legacy is, but I think probably coming soon to a city near you, especially if you get communists in there. So New York City might see a similar exodus. Baltimore used to have 920, like almost a third of their population. A third is gone.
You can message me on Telegram if you want.
Gosh. Yeah, so there'll be an exodus, and New York will probably see the same thing happen. But
just by what you've said already, I have a pretty good idea.
They're going to go to Texas. Like, well, you know what we need down here in Texas? Communism. So here was J.D. Vance saying, we're going to continue to work on this illegal alien stuff.
Yeah, usually that's on Prime.
He was on with Meet the Press.
Of course, people who are here and who are not documented and not eligible to vote. But
they're not eligible to vote, but they do go in the congressional apportionment. That's why California has so many.
You can message me on anything.
It's because they count illegal aliens. So even though they don't vote, well, some of them actually
have to be on Telegram.
Hopefully, most of them don't. They end up getting congressional representation that ought by right go to American citizens.
I know, of course.
All right, so we've got that. We'll come back on Kilmar today because Kilmar, we talked about him on Saturday. He got his 72-hour notice, and now he's afuera, and so, or in the process of being afuera. And they just filed a lawsuit over there, too, in Maryland. So we're going to have a bunch of stuff come skidding in. So we'll get back onto the illegal immigration and the Kilmar stuff this afternoon and see what's cracking on that. But now, my friends, let's hear from you. Let's see what you say about all of this and more.
I want to hear from us.
And see how your week is. And hopefully you're off to an amazing start. Let's see who we got joining us today. And so I adjusted some location of screens and stuff, so it's kind of like when you put on a new pair of underwear, you're like,
this Will Cow.
Strange.
Really pissed Dirty off.
But I think it's going to be better for me. It's going to be much cleaner now and fresher, So kind of a similar thing happening right now.
Okay. I'll just continue, I guess. Now we're talking about euthanasia of newborn babies, starting with allegedly
euthanasia,
the severely disabled.
The babies in China?
But that's the whole thing about the creep. How these types of things creep. Once you accept that a living, breathing person no longer has human rights because they're disabled, and that to alleviate whatever burden parents or even society, which they see as a burden, then you can simply say to doctors, end my child's life. Once they become accustomed to that, they will be aborting perfectly healthy babies. I mean, killing perfectly healthy babies, excuse me. And they're not calling that murder. Let's see. Sean, Philadelphia. You're the Wilcott majority. Hello. First up, go ahead.
Hey, hello, Ed. Yeah, it's like 95 pounds.
See, I've heard both. I didn't zoom in on it. It looked funny to me. But some people said, yeah, those are 45s. Some said they're 25s. Some said they're 35s. But why would you upload that video?
Exactly.
That's something I seriously I don't understand why you would upload that. I would say lower the. I wouldn't do it at all. Actually,
It fixes all muscle beach in the 70s.
well, it's no Muscle Beach.
Musclehead Beach.
Look, I mean, this is not something we started.
All right, we're back.
This is something that they started in their attempt to rebrand and go after the manosphere. And yes, is it true that bench pressing is an ego thing? It is. It's an ego thing for a lot of people.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know I could probably be more defined if I lifted lower weights for higher reps, but I will admit I can't let go of my ego lifts. So whether it's a deadlift, whether it's a bench press, it's ego.
Yeah. When I was 20 years old, I was doing that kind of stuff. But at my age now, I just,
Well, of
like I
course.
just maintain. That's all.
Again, this is not helping them win the manosphere. Thank you very much. Especially when you make a laughing stock of yourself. Especially when you look.
There's
like
nothing to be embarrassed about.
I don't know why you would upload such a video. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Is it? All right, you're calling back. How do I say your name?
Shan, like Shannon.
Okay, Shan. Shan, go ahead, sir.
Yes.
Arizona.
So you're all over the place. Yeah, Arizona, Phoenix. The concept of abortion, right? You were just talking about that, but that's not what I really call it for. But I'll just quickly. It's very simple. I don't know if you believe in God or not. How you read the Bible? I've read it like 20 times, all the way through. Some of it's boring as heck. But
I'm sure it is on the gut.
Don't fornicate. Don't commit adultery. Don't have premarital sex. You won't have a worry about abortion. The only two things that would happen would be for rape and incest, right? Deal with that. If people did the right thing, we wouldn't have to worry so much about abortion. I agree it's wrong. That's all I want to say about that.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll say I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that they told us there was no such thing as post-birth abortion, and now Canada is telling us there is such thing, and this is government sanctioned.
They're wrong. Read the Bible. They're wrong. It's that simple. Okay, secondly, unless you don't believe in it, then we're all in trouble, right? The second thing I wanted to point out, I hope you don't mind, original call was this. I'm building an indoor pool. I happened to be talking to a gentleman, his name is Scott Neely. He's in the pool industry. He actually ran for governor. I talked 2 hours with this guy. He was complaining about Kerry Lake, that he was banned with the Republican National Convention. He can't log in. He's been banned. And so my whole thought was I was going to promote Mr. Neely. I did it on X. I can say, hey, look, Kerry, why don't you talk with Scott, figure out what's going on. Everybody should have equal, if they're American citizens, everybody should be able to be an elected official and let the people decide. You should not play interference if that's what's really happening. I don't know if this is true or not. That's what he's saying. But then as I was promoting him, and he was trying to make a comment on one of my comments on X, as I was promoting him, and then he gets all paranoid. Why are you blocking me? He said, I'm not blocking you. Well, how can I block anybody? So, and then he got all paranoid on me, so maybe that's why he'll never be governor. I have no idea. And so I said, look, I'll just delete all my posts and you're on your own. So here I am spending my time trying to be patriotic to him and say, look, for what he said to me in those 2 hours, it makes sense. He's actually down on the border. He's actually building that border wall. He and his sons are down there. So I liked what I heard. I liked what he talked about. But anyway, my whole point there was everybody should be, if it's true, if Kerry Lake actually did do that, somehow
I don't know anything about this, and I'm not starting beefs here on this program.
What sucks is a lot of painkillers cause even worse digestion issues, which will potentiate your issues. So I get it, man. It sucks.
Should be able to run for office, including president, without having to be sorted by their own party.
Well, that's what primaries are for. That's what Trump proved. Thank you very much for the call. I don't know about this. I'm not going to weigh in one way or the other. Sometimes people, when they get through, want to take the program off track and promote something that we're not talking about. But Donald Trump proved that you don't need the approval of the party to get into a primary. I mean, remember Sarah Palin famously sitting there in a Republican primary debate saying, they're squabbling with one another. And she said, we deserve more than this. And she won.
I got it, man.
Let's see what we have here. Anthony, New Jersey.
It's drunk on the side of the road.
How you doing, Andrew? Long time listener. You sparked my
She doesn't even smell.
Just said that it's the norm in Canada to kill severely disabled babies. It's also the norm in the United States now to have riots and not peaceful protests and lawlessness. It becomes the norm after a while.
Well, what is it? I'm going to run out of time here. What was it? Stalin once said, "A death is a tragedy, a million deaths is a statistic."
Correct.
Right? Their human life has no value to these people. Thank you very much for the call, but for their own. We're just the masses. They're the A+ intellectuals. You've read your Aldous Huxley. Second hour next, Sirius XM Patriot.
That's good, but still, it's
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you're driving
doesn't really
a
deal with
truck
the pain
with an
that much, I'm
expired
sure.
warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair,
I got to be careful with that. With
repair bill,
opiate painkillers,
I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a
I've been
vehicle
cleaning off
breakdown.
opiates for
Choose the company I trust.
13
Endurance.
years.
No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old,
It's not that I haven't had to take any prescribed, but I'm very careful when I do. And I usually don't even keep the medication in my possession. I keep it in my wife's possession. The way I know that I'm not overtaking it.
Any plan. Endurance handles
putting in a friendship
from making
gas
the
station
plan
here.
to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Humanitarian, yeah.
Call 800
Yeah, he only killed about, 15 million people? 20 million people? Not as many as Mao, but...
Discover a franchise that works as hard as you do. Beefaroo. Beefaroo is a beloved Midwestern brand with a loyal following that goes back nearly 60 years.
Or is that just a conspiracy
We've
theory?
been serving up famously delicious burgers, fries, and shakes since 1967. It's a brand built on Midwestern values, powered by a quality menu with simple operations. A formula that translates nationwide. Beefaroo is committed to growing our well-established American fast casual restaurant system with franchisees who share our passion for providing the highest quality customer experience
I don't know.
at an affordable price. As a growing brand with
Is he doing the mass extermination? I haven't heard about it. I think he's just sending people to their homelands.
footprint options to fit different markets and investment levels, and we have proven systems.
Not nearly Clinton's
You can focus on growing Beefaroo.
death toll.
Seize the opportunity to become a Beefaroo
Not even close to
franchise owner.
Clinton's.
Franchise.com to start your journey.
Where's this barbecue place? Oh, there it is. Jimmy G's. All right. Well, I've never been here, but it looked pretty cool online. Where the fuck do you drive in? Oh, right here. Jeez, oh Pete's. It's a thin driveway. Will they have a drive-thru? Pickup window. Windows for calling orders only. Oh, okay. So I guess that means I got to pull around and go inside.
Any streets all over the country, cashless bail. We're ending it, but we're starting by ending it in D.C., and that we have the right to do through federalization.
On another issue, the president says burning the American flag can spark outrage.
What happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You can do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy.
Next on the president's agenda, he is
people go crazy. All right, I'll leave you guys listening to it. I'll be right back.
On the international desk, Israel with attacks across the UN's capital. Correspondent Kim reports on the rising death toll there.
At least 6 people have been killed and more than 80 injured from Sunday strikes across Sanaa. Israel's military said it struck an oil facility and power plant, along with a military site where the presidential palace is located. The attacks happened after the Houthis said they fired a newly equipped missile toward Israel on Friday. The Israeli military claims the weapon was a cluster bomb. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu released a video following the attack, saying the Houthi terrorist regime is learning the hard way that it will pay and is paying a very heavy price for its aggression against Israel. The Houthis have launched missiles and drones toward Israel for over 22 months. I'm Mayan Kim.
Looking at Wall Street, stocks are mixed. The Dow dropping 216 points, but the Nasdaq ahead 52. More on these stories at townhall.com. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-226-5454. That's 800-226-5454. 800-226-5454.
Fierce fighting between Ukrainian and Russian forces continues in the contested Donbas region.
The strikes continue both on the front line, in the east, in the south of Ukraine, and across the country. Overnight, Russia launched against Ukraine over 100 drones. And it's still considered to be quite small-scale attack compared to the previous ones, but there is no end in sight for now. And also, Russia it assesses the situation that it is winning on the front line right now. And if it is winning, there is no point for the Russian side to negotiate.
The BBC's Jana Bestrichuk. A German nonprofit organization says 3 young Sudanese sisters, all under 11, have died after an overcrowded rubber dinghy took on water in bad weather in the Mediterranean. Their bodies found in international waters north of Libya. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com.
A fusion of rational thought and political analysis. This is what your brain has been waiting for. News, politics, and issues. You have just joined the Will Majority.
Your generation of great talk radio. The founder of the news school. That's me, Andrew Wilkow, Sirius XM Patriot. Phone lines, as always, 1-695 Patriot, 957-2874. The email, spell my name right, WILKW at WilkowMajority.com. Individual Patriot first, conservative second, Republican third. And working every single day to make this the most popular program offered by Sirius XM Radio, because it's based in one thing and one thing only, and that is rational thought. So welcome to the Wilkow Majority. I'm Andrew Wilkow. We are, in fact, winding down the hardcore summer, and that is sad. The time marches on. And so my buddy, Michael Watley, is he's moving on to run for the Senate. He has resigned his position as RNC co-chair. And joining me on the program right now is Casey Crosby, who now has the position. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I normally say that in a summer without major elections, we struggle a little bit, especially, when Congress is out of session and there's no elections. But the past 10 years has been boom, 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 boom in the Trump era. The New York Times has a piece out. We read it. I'm sure you've seen it. That the Democrats are losing in the race of voter registration. They're down 4.5 million voters, largely in the battleground states, but even in the blue states. And as far as fundraising goes, you know this,
The RNC is killing the Democrats right now. And you've got Gavin Newsom out there trying to create his own, like, own the libs in reverse. And it's really kind of silly, stupid, and arrogant because he's trying to imitate something instead of it being authentic. But he's not telling us what he or other Democrats would do better.
Yeah, I don't know that he could do anything better. No one likes Gavin more than Gavin likes Gavin. And so he, in my opinion, is just the gift that keeps giving. And if he wants to be the official head of the Democratic Party when they're tanking, like you said, in voter registrations in the 30 states that track it, and continue to get outpaced by the Republican National Committee with fundraising, that makes us happy. We're pedal to the metal. Michael Whatley and I have been working hard since January, making sure that we make President Trump a 4-year president by winning the 2026 midterms. And so we have not come down from 24 at all. We are pressing that pedal to the metal. We want to produce wins for President Trump.
Well, I'll say this, and I said this to Michael Whatley, and I'll say it to you. Look, traditionally Democrats playing the role of like cool college professor or cool older person were able to get young people voting Democrat, and we're creatures of habit. And if you're not if you're not a political person and you're not much for conservative media, maybe you aren't even hearing the arguments you need to hear. But one thing I think Republicans should really focus on is what especially young people learned about the Democrats from the lockdowns. That you have an entire generation of young people that had crucial years stolen from them by the lockdowns, whether they didn't get to go out for their 21st birthday or go to prom or whatever it is. And then they were hit with the effects of inflation. So you had 4 years of a really terrible 4 years of the Biden presidency and 2 years of Democrat dominance in Congress. A lot of people that might not be political got a huge wake up, especially young people, and that drove them into the arms of the Republican Party.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. As the mom of young people, my kids lived through it. We as a family lived through it. I saw, my youngest son, who's a baseball player, he was in critical years with his high school, with his baseball team, and, really missed out on those years of being able to play a sport that he loved, to be at school with friends that he loved, and it really, was detrimental to a lot of families.
All right. It smells good. Well, they actually have something called barbecue taters here, but it's with brisket on it too. Or I mean, shredded pork, whatever.
You mentioned Gavin Newsom earlier. I mean, we think people like him are so pompous. They're enforcing rules in states like California during COVID, but it's okay for him to go out and eat at fancy French restaurants when everybody else has their kids at home trying to learn remotely and can't go to the grocery store and can't go out and do the things they enjoy doing as a family.
Alrighty.
But, and again, images like that,
smells delicious.
Looking back, I would say are way more powerful than maybe
15 minutes from the shop.
Because when you
I got my sides. I got mac and cheese and their homemade coleslaw. They got like a vinegar-based coleslaw. It sounds pretty good.
I'm gonna go about my life. I'm gonna go have dinner with my friends. I'm gonna laugh it up. I'm gonna have fun while you're in lockdown. That's that attitude of it's for thee, not for me. And when we talk about things like healthcare or education, transportation, housing, all of these things that Democrats want to control, they say to you essentially, in order for us to give you education, we have to take away your choice in education. In order for us to give you healthcare, we have to take away your choice in healthcare. And looking at the lockdowns and the inflation, people who might not be very political or really care much about it, like, wait a second, you mean you're not doing this for me, you're doing it to me by expense.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that's President Trump really You know, when you look at what he did in 2024 and the demographics that he grew in, we saw him across all demographics, whether it was young people, blacks, Hispanics, women. He grew in all those demographics, and I think, you know, it just tells the story of the Democrats are so out of touch with messaging. They don't have a clear, unified message. They don't have a clear, unified party. They don't have a leader. They have lots of people who want to be leaders, and they're just woke on messaging. I always say they double down on dumb. They just completely double down on dumb, and they take these issues that are 80-20 issues across the country and double down on them and fight for people like MS-13 gangbangers who stay in the country, you know, who are like the worst of the worst. They're murderers, they're human traffickers, rapists. You know, they want boys and girls sports, and, you know, just people are just not identifying with their message. And again, going back to your initial statement, it's very clear they're losing voters and they're losing money.
Yeah, I mean, and in droves. The New York Times is really sending up the red alert to Democrats. Look, this is what I say lately. You don't have to be a Republican, but they're insane, right? You don't have to be a dyed-in-the-wool Republican. You don't have to be a partisan Republican, lifelong card-carrying Republican to go. Those people are nuts, like crazy nuts. And even the people that are, I want to know when the figure that resembles.
Oh, I love cabbage almost anyway.
Because Gavin is out there. Now the latest one is Make America Gavin Again. Does anyone think the rest of the country wants to be more like California? But he's doing this so early.
This guy gets in front of me and slams on his brakes.
Not even at the midterms yet. And he's out there risking being kind of overexposed and forgotten.
Rumbling, Exy, could you drop it for LVA?
This is some kind of winning strategy. Politico he's just trying to get under the skin of Republicans. So the whole thing when he said he's going to go around punching people in the face, it's like,
no, I've never had candied cabbage.
Republicans should just all right,
I like cabbage rolls. I like corned beef and cabbage. Coleslaw. Even a little bit of shredded raw cabbage, I guess, in a salad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
It's if you click on the link tree in the description, it's there.
Gavin more than Gavin, and I think
LVA.
that's what we're seeing. I mean, heck, his podcast is named "This Is Gavin Newsom." I mean, it's all about him. Unfortunately, while the people of California just suffer under his leadership, I mean, you know, he has a homelessness crisis, economic mismanagement. I think families in California.
Aldi corned beef? I don't think I've had it.
Families are paying something like $26,000 more than your national average of middle class families are paying.
I guess I should make that, huh? The Rumble.
I mean, again, they just keep doubling down on them as a party, and you know, give them a long enough rope, and you see what happens. Again, going back to the voter registration numbers.
Get it? You'll get a free membership if you get in the chat.
In disarray. Meanwhile, President Trump and his message is resonating with people.
I'm gonna do it throughout August and September.
You know, he makes promises and he keeps promises. And people are saying
while I'm still getting 98% of it back, I'll go ahead and purchase it, and I get it right back at the end of the month. So.
We had 0 border crossings in 3 months. He said he was going to pass a big.
Yeah, we have rallies.
Every single Democrat voted for the largest.
It's the same as what's the other one? It's not rallies, but.
President Trump is delivering. He's growing our party. We are the party.
Actually, the rallies that me and Toe went to last time when we went out together with AJOT. It's now a coffee shop. I noticed that yesterday. I was like, oh my God, that rallies is a Big B now. Checkers, yeah, they're the same. Got the big Bufords and the. Well, it's been a minute since I've had a big Buford.
This is what I don't get about Democrats. They're just everything is the sky.
Man. Even though it's 35 here, and we're doing 21.
You really want to get right down to it. And I was on with Carol Markowitz on her podcast. I said, you know what's really funny about being Generation X? I feel like we're having a 2.0 like second Reagan era in the Trump second term. That we're not generationally defined. Like Generation X was supposed to be the generation that had no purpose, right? And
Dirty's over on Rumble.
The baby boomers, there was an umbrella purpose, but Gen X was always seen as the generation with no purpose. But really, we did have a purpose. We learned about prosperity. We learned about the greatness of America. We learned about how free market capitalism.
Dirty likes the Free Speech Network on Rumble. He loves it. It's a pain in the ass to make it work on his phone. Yeah, he's the browser.
Put the brass knuckles on when it comes to trade.
Yeah, I think they all do there, but yeah.
Our factories, our workers, and our business people. We're not having it. We're not concerned about rocking the boat or whether or not you're insulted by it. If you're going to tariff us, we're going to tariff you. We're watching as foreign investment is pouring in. We're watching as other countries are giving us better trade deals and opening their markets. And it does feel like a second, not to take away from Trump, but a second generation X experience.
That's fine. Make an account. Make sure you verify the account too with your email.
I believe it's one of the
And
greatest
then,
presidents
yeah.
of our lifetime. And thank goodness he's, in this place at this time for this moment. And, I am so proud to get to go out and represent him in the America.
Turn on notifications. Because a lot of times I'll do Rumble only or Rumble Premium only.
I hear people are
someone's got skunk over here.
Trump and what he is doing to make America great again.
Well, because it's the same thing with Reagan. I was obviously much younger. I just turned 53. But you can remember that the meeting the Democrats thought the end was coming, right? Like Star Wars was going to start World War III. And missile defense is not political. They looked at Reagan as this dunce who was going to flush everything. The sky was always falling with Ronald Reagan. And it's the same thing with Trump. When you hear progressive Democrats say, do you not see what's going on around you? Yeah, I see a border that's getting secured. I see a president who's trying to bring peace to the world. It's not easy. I see a president that's trying to restore the prosperity that was lost in the trade-off between cheap stuff and jobs, and the attitude that if the knowledge economy, coastal elites are happy that everything's fine.
Me and the wife are going to see Whiskey Myers Wednesday at the auditorium at the zoo.
I actually do see all the things around me, and I go, you know what? I voted for this.
100%. I voted for it too. I'm here for it. And again, I couldn't agree with you more. I have no disagreements with what you just said. I mean, President Trump is the right person for the right time, and I think he's completely transforming. And, when we're fighting fire with fire, I think it's funny that you mentioned Gavin Newsom saying, I'm going to knock you in the teeth, I'm going to punch you in the face, I'll go tit for tat with them. And, President Trump is a winner, and
I don't know why it's
my
fucking
money is always on President Trump and what
doesn't
he's
really
doing
charge.
for America. He cares. I mean, and anybody who listens to him has been around him, he truly cares and loves our country. And he's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that we are safe and that we prosper.
So I wanted to, one of the points we are talking about.
Yeah, my home state.
Amy McGrath, Andy Beshear, the Democrats are trying. You've got, on one side you've got Rand Paul and Thomas Massie. On the other side you've got Andy Beshear and Amy McGrath. And the Democrats are trying to use these Kentucky. They're looking at North Carolinians. They're looking at Kentucky. They're looking at Spain. They're trying to find someone that can give them the traction back with a lot of the people they lost. And I've always asserted that Andy Beshear did not take on the role of Kamala Harris' VP because I don't think anybody wanted that job. I don't think Tim Walz was anywhere near the top of the list. I think it was Andy Beshear, Roy Cooper, and Josh Shapiro were the top three. I don't think Tim Walz was anywhere near the top three. But they're trying to push these people out as a Republican. From Kentucky, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, they're just like you, even though they've been roundly rejected in that message. I know Bashir's obviously the governor, but they're not helping recapture those lost voters that went the way of Republicans and still continue to go the way of Republicans.
Yeah, being in the state, it's amazing that we have Andy Beshear as our governor. He's Democratic. We're down ticket from our AG down. It's Republican. 5 of our 6 congressional representatives are Republican. Our 2 U.S. senators are Republican. We are a very red state. Unfortunately, sometimes you have issues with candidates when they run against each other, and he squeaked out a win and then was able to get a second term. But Andy Beshear likes to benefit off the good things the Republicans are doing in the state. He tries to be a moderate and goes out and presents himself as this, gosh, golly, can't we all just get along? Sort of like Mr. Rogers type on the national level. And frankly, he is just as liberal as Gavin Newsom. He vetoes everything that comes across his desk, and thankfully we have supermajorities in the state. We just override his vetoes, and then he turns around and tries to take credit for all the great things that are going on. We can't get rid of him soon enough. I think we will see a Republican governor in Kentucky in 2028, and it's unfortunate that we are stuck with him, but fortunately, again, we do have the supermajorities, and we're able to get some great things done in our state.
Well, again, they're trying to, I guess they're looking for him to be a vote with my finger, and it's not working. As long as the Democrats want to throw the border back open, take them, again, I'm running out of time here, but they're saying that under Trump, healthcare is becoming unaffordable. I thought we have a thing called the Affordable Care Act, which was supposed to make healthcare more affordable. Isn't that kind of proof that it didn't work?
Yeah, and I just saw today, I think right before I got on, I was sort of going through X a little bit and noticed that President Trump was talking about prescription drug prices and signing an executive order to lower those down. I mean, we're not talking, 50%, 100%. I mean, we're paying the cost of the world in prescription drugs. There are countries who buy the same medicine that we do for 1,000% less. And so President Trump is definitely trying to level the playing field there a little bit. And, again, it's just people are not buying into the message of the Democrat Party right now.
Well, that is not an excuse for Republicans to get complacent. Okay?
No, we are pedal to the metal. We are working so hard. And we have 2 governor's races in 25 that we have stuff on the ground helping those candidates. I mean, we are not letting up at all at the Republican National Committee. I'm not sure, obviously Chairman Watley has gone to run for Senate in North Carolina. I see some message we're voluntold that you're the best person to do this, and I totally believe that he is the best person to do this, and he has left the Republican National Committee in fantastic shape. I know Chairman Burgers is going to be a great chairman and continue a lot of successful things that Watley started, and I'm just excited for the future of the Republican Party because we are growing and we are pursuing both.
All right, I got to leave it there. But congratulations on becoming the RNC coach here, Casey Brown. I'm sure we'll be talking a lot in the near future.
I can't wait. Thank you so much.
All right, well, it's 695 Patriot 957-2874. We are right. They are wrong. That's the end of the story. The arguments on this radio program cannot be broken. Sirius XM Patriot.
Lady Wilson on the arena and stadium shows.
Paying her dues at bars and theaters. And now she's back.
Sirius XM's small stage series featuring Lady Wilson.
Presented by Hershey's. Captured live in LA for subscribers in El Rey Theater.
I had to show you all crazy stuff. Here's Sirius XM's small stage series. From the beginning, anytime you're home on your phone, computer, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
You want to run a successful business? You better have the right people. And if you don't have the right people, nothing else is going to work. That's why I use ZipRecruiter to hire. I'm Marcus Limones, the leader of 2 public companies and investor in businesses across America.
Yeah, it is pretty nice around here. Little tiny town, though.
Thousands of people are on ZipRecruiter looking for
Green Springs, world's largest natural sulfur springs.
You post a job, and they find you qualified candidates fast. You don't need to wait around. With ZipRecruiter, you can find the right person right away. And the strong team means fewer fires to put out. and a lot less stress at the end of the day. ZipRecruiter, the #1 rated hiring site according to G2, because it works. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Marcus. ZipRecruiter.com/Marcus. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Marcus.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs.
All right, guys.
Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-619-6488 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today
fire it up later on.
Free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options.